have light weights, you can grab them. And if you would prefer to not use weights, you can leave them and you don't need to use them. If you have a pet who's taking over your yoga mat, I get it. Can you sit? All right. So to start, you can just sit on your mat. You can either have your legs tucked under you, sitting, on your feet, or you can You can sit cross-legged, whichever is more comfortable for you, and just put your weights off to the side. And then just think about stacking your spine nice and tall. So feel your ribs pull back if you tend to sit with them splayed forward. Think about dropping them in the front. Maybe that also means dropping your tailbone and lengthening through the low back. And then just let your hands be on your thighs. And take a nice big breath in. Notice if your ribs only want to come forward, if they want to go out to the side, if you're expanding into your back. And then exhale, just relax everything, but feel yourself grow a tiny bit taller. And then one more breath in. And then again, exhale, but feel that length through the crown of your head. Take your arms out to a T, and then you're just going to bring your hands on top of your shoulders, and then just think about twisting gently to the right, reaching wide from one elbow to the other across your chest, and then come back to the center and twist over to the left. Same thing, nice and gently, thinking about finding that width across your collarbone, and then back to the center one more time to the right. And center, last one to the left. And center. And let your right hand fall towards the floor and reach your left arm almost more up than over. And then bend your elbow and side bend even more over to that right side. Think about dropping your left sitting bone. And then round your arms forward in front of you and peel yourself all the way back up. And then let your hand drop over to the left, and then reach your right arm up. Find that length through the right side, and then you can kind of collapse or reach even farther, but lower down that wall to your left side. And then again, just sort of fall forward. And then you can uncross your legs or just bring yourself up into a kneeling position on all fours. Hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. You have your hands a little bit wider than your shoulders if that feels comfortable. And then think about lengthening through the crown of the head and the tailbone. And then curl the tailbone under towards the floor. Start to really round through the low back, and then the mid back, upper back, drop your head. And then you're going to uncurl your spine in the opposite direction. So starting at the base of your spine, think about widening through the sitting bones. Lengthen through the front of the body, and then lift the head. Gaze is straight ahead, and then tuck the tailbone under, bottom of the spine up to the top. And then same thing, bottom of the spine up to the top to uncurl. 2 more. And last one. Round up. And then find your extension, and then find yourself in a nice neutral pelvis here. Think about lengthening your tailbone and crown of your head away from one another, so you're staying in this nice neutral position, and then let your shoulder blades slide in towards your spine, and then press and separate them away. And let your spine sink down, and then press the shoulders and lift them up. And then again, down and up. 4 more. Really feeling how that changes the engagement through your chest, through your back, around the armpits. 1 more. Pause with that pressed up space between your shoulder blades and your spine, and then just slowly let your body find its nice neutral. And then from here, you are going to extend your right leg back behind you, float it up. And then from here, just holding with that leg nice and long, you're going to lift your left hand off the floor and extend it long out in front of you. Rotate your thumb up towards the ceiling to give you a little bit of space guaranteed between your ear and your shoulder. And hold here. Take a nice big inhale. And then exhale. Keep holding. One more time, inhaling. And exhale. And then let your arm and leg come out to a diagonal. And then resist from the inner thigh to bring them back to the midline. And then again, open out to that diagonal. And then drag them into the midline. 4 more. 3, trying to stay nice and stable, supporting through that right hand and that left leg, which means you're pressed up through that hand. Your back is supporting, your whole back is supporting you. Last one. And then lower that right hand down and then lower your left knee underneath you. And then same thing, other side. So take yourself into a little scapula push-up here. Slide those shoulder blades apart and then find your nice neutral spine. Float your left leg out behind you, just lifting hip height or slightly lower. The height doesn't actually matter as long as it's not up here. And then you're going to lift your right hand off the floor, starting to stabilize, and then rotate your thumb towards the ceiling. Externally rotate through that upper arm and then lengthen it out. Take a nice big breath here. And then exhale. Let it go. One more breath. Keeping nice and stable. And then let them come out to that diagonal. And then resist to bring it back in. And then again, out to your diagonal. And back in. 5 or 6 more. And out. And back in. Making sure you have not dropped your head. Gaze is straight down or slightly in front. 2. And last one. Bring it back in, bring your hand down, and then bring your knee in underneath you. Round your spine up towards the ceiling. Give yourself a second to reset. And then find yourself in this nice neutral position one more time. From here, you're going to extend your right leg back, curl those toes under, and then just send your weight back, reach through the heel, get a little stretch through your right calf, back of your leg, and then come back to a more neutral position. Grab your weight and put it in your left hand. Optional, you can always skip the weight at any time. You're going to float your arm and leg up. So your arm is in line with your upper arm in line with your body, and your leg is straight, but your arm is bent, if you can see right arm on or left arm on this side. And you're just going to extend your arm long so it's in line with your body, squeezing through the tricep. You're going to bend the knee in, bend the elbow. Straighten the arm, straighten the leg. Bend it in, and extend. 5 more. Thinking about hinging at the hip, reaching back through the sitting bones. Keep yourself in a nice neutral pelvis. Upper arm is fixed. Elbow stays in the same spot for 3, 2. Last one, keep it long. Open the arm and leg out to the side and back in. So you're letting it leave your hip and then bring it back into the hip on that left arm. Out and in. 4 more. 3, 2, and last one. Good. Lower the arm all the way down, put the weight down. And then you're going to come down onto your left forearm and your right hand is going to stay. And you're going to rotate your hips open. Keep reaching long through that right leg and then rotate your hips towards the floor. Rotate them open and rotate them to the floor. So thinking about opening up through that right hip and then closing it off. Rotating your pelvis around that left femur and down. 1 more. Keep it open here. You're going to lower your leg down and lift. Again, pelvis is open. Right hip bone is pointing that direction away from you for 4, 3, 2. Last one, leave the leg long and lifted. And then you're going to bend it in towards your upper arm and then extend and reach long. Bend it in, still keeping those hips open, and extend for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, keep it long, keep it lifted. Rotate the hips towards the floor. Press up with your left hand. Make sure your arms are in a nice distance under your shoulders or slightly wider, and that your weight is not going to hit your face. And then you're going to bend your elbows back towards you. Let your leg lift as your upper body lowers, and then press up. And then lower the upper body, back leg lifts rather, and up. For 6. You're sort of like a seesaw here. Seesaw? Yeah. As your upper body goes down, the leg goes up as a reaction rather than a lift. 3. 2 more. And last one. Good, lower that right leg down. And then I'm going to turn to the other side. But from here, go ahead, shake your wrists out if you need, and then reset yourself back into an all fours position. Extend your left leg out behind you, and then curl those toes under, and then send your weight back into your heel. Press through the hands into the floor so you get that nice good stretch. And then when you're ready, you're going to float your leg up to about hip height and hold, and then take your weight in your right hand in line with your body, and extend the arm until it's in line with your hip. Bend the arm and the knee, and then extend. And then bend in and extend. Good, thinking about that sling effect you have going on in both the front and back of your body to help keep you nice and supported from that left inner thigh to that right shoulder, and then the opposite side, so left shoulder to the right inner thigh. For 3, 2, last one, keep the arm and leg long, open them out to the side in a diagonal, squeeze in towards center line. Resist as you go out, resist as you come back in. Through that right arm, try not to let it lower. Always drop the weight if this is too much. For 3, 2, and last one. Good. Drop the right weight, or the weight in the right hand, and then come down onto your right forearm. Hips stay square, leg stays lifted. Open up, rotate around that right femur, lift your hips. Rather, rotate your hips open, and then rotate them back towards the floor. And then open the hips, close the hips. The leg is just along for the ride. The pelvis is doing all the work, controlled by your core, I guess your brain, but also your core. 2 more. All right, this time leave it open. You're gonna lower that left leg down and then reach it up and down and up. Hips stay nice and stable. For 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, leave it lifted. Bend that knee towards your upper arm, and then extend. And bend in. And extend. For 6, 5, 4 more. Neck is nice and long. 3. This is the last one. Rotate your hips down towards the floor. Press up and put both hands on the ground. Left leg just follows your torso as you bend the elbows back toward your hips, lower down, and then press up. And then bend down and press. Elbows bend back, keeping your shoulder blades nice and centered on your spine, so they're sliding in a bit towards your spine as you lower, and then retracting a little as you press up. However, they're not winging, you're staying nice and stable. Last one. Press up, and then lower that leg all the way down. Sit back onto your heels, and you can just roll your wrists out. You're gonna get a little bit of a break here. Grab both of your weights, and then come to lay onto your back. Good. From here, your weights, again, just you put one on each side of your hip. That's probably the best place for them. but let your hands come all the way to the ground without the weights for now. Starting just laying on the floor, take another big inhale, and just exhale, feel yourself really settle into the ground. And you can bring your hands to your ribs and your hips if that is a helpful cue for you. Otherwise, you could just leave them down by your side. You're going to take a nice big inhale. And then on your exhale, feel your hips reach up towards your ribs as your low back lengthens towards the floor. And then you're going to uncurl that spine and return to neutral as you inhale rather. So exhale, feel that gentle engagement. Inhale, release. Exhale, curl it under. Put a little gentle pressure into your feet and release. 3 more. 2. And last one. And then release back into neutral. From here, make sure your feet are not too far away from your glutes, but also not like all the way in. You maybe can touch them, but probably not. You can touch them, move them a little bit out, just give your knees some space. Curl that tailbone under on your exhale. And then peel yourself all the way up the rest of the way, reaching through the front of the thighs, lengthening the knees away from you. And then take a big inhale and notice what happened to your shoulders. And then exhale, try to have your whole shoulder girdle resting on the floor. If your shoulders are not on the ground, you are too high. And then just tuck your tailbone under a little bit more here. Think about having water sort of running down your body, and you are going to try to pour that water towards the floor. So keep tucking that pelvis under where that water is coming from as you peel your spine down 1 vertebrae at a time. And release. And then again, curl the tailbone under, lengthen yourself all the way up. And then soften your sternum. Think about still keeping that tailbone really tucked under to help you get every vertebrae on the ground in order. And relax. And then back up one last time. We're going to stay here. And then from here, think about rotating your pelvis over to the right. Maybe you have a little bit more room than you would if we had done this earlier in class after opening up around each hip in all fours a minute ago. Rotate to the right, center, left, center, one more time to each side, and left. You could square your hips off in the center, and then think like you have a stick between your thighs, so you're not going to rotate them, but you're just going to reach as far as you can with those hips over to the right, so the hip and ribs come closer together on that left side, and then center, and then over to the right. Keep reaching long away with the knees, and center. 2 more on each side. Weight stays even through the shoulders. And right last time. Center, last one to the left. Square yourself off and then peel yourself all the way back down. Okay, bring your right leg up into tabletop. And then bring your left leg up to meet it. And then from here, you're going to grab onto your weights and reach them straight up towards the ceiling. Drop your heels so that they're more or less in line with your knees or lower than your knees. But instead of having them up, either be at 90 or below 90, please. And then from here, try to find where your knees are more or less over your hips, hands over your shoulders. And you're going to extend your left leg, right arm. And then resist to bring them back in. And of course, at any time, you can drop your weights and back in. And extend. And feel how having the weight going overhead challenges through the abdominals. Think about dragging your heel on an imaginary table so you're not really changing the height of your foot. You're just sending it away from you. One more time to each side after this. Last time with the left leg here. Last time with the right leg. Good, and then lower the arms all the way down to the floor. Bring your hands behind your head, keeping your legs as they are. And then curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Ribs slide towards your hips. And then you're just gonna tap your left leg away from you and resist to bring it back in. Switching sides. And lift. Making sure that your abdominals are not pressing up towards the ceiling. You can always bring a hand towards them. Or just don't have your foot reach all the way to the floor. Think more about your thigh moving away from you. And if this feels harder today than normal, that's fine. If it feels easier than normal, that's also fine. One more time on each side. Last one with the left leg. Last on the right. Lower your left leg down. And then you're just going to twist and rotate up and over towards the right and then come back to the center. Twist and rotate towards the right and center. 4 more over to that right leg. Center. 3, 2, and last one. Lower the right leg down, lift that left leg up, and twist and rotate for 6, 5. Think about reaching the rib towards the opposite hip rather than the elbow. 3 more. 2. And last one. Bring that right leg up into tabletop. And then from here, you're going to twist to the right. You can glue your legs all the way together and twist to the left. And center, and then over to the right. Ooh. Move away from this wall a little. And left. Again, opposite hip, opposite knee. Keeping those legs nice and still, your hips nice and still. Notice if you want to like side bend to twist. That's fun and new. But not what we're looking for. Last one to the left. Pause in the center, lower your head down. Reach your arms overhead and bring your knees into your chest. Take a second here. And then when you're ready, slide your hands back behind your head. Lift your head, neck, and shoulders up. Find a nice, good positioning for them. Bring your legs back to tabletop. You're gonna lower your left leg as you twist up and over towards the right, and then switch, and switch, and switch, and switch. Halfway done. And switch. Again, minimizing that rotation anywhere other than your upper body. Last one to each side. And to the left. And then bring your knees in again. Reach your arms up overhead and then gently lower one leg down and then the other. Bend your elbows, bring your arms to a cactus pose. And then you're going to bring them about as wide as your mat. A little bit wider than your hips, somewhere in that range. And then just let your legs fall over to the right. If your weight is in the way, move it out. And then up and over towards that other side. And then 1 or 2 more times quicker to each side. Moving through a nice bit of rotation here. Good, and then bring your legs all the way together. Bring your legs up into tabletop. And then let them fall over to the right. more or less in line with your hips. And your goal would be to have both shoulders on the ground, and if you don't, that's fine. That's normal. If I keep my hips stacked, my hand is like 6 inches, 4 inches off the ground. Something to work on. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to take my hand to my back where I can feel the tension, where I'm not able to release. And I'm going to put my hand there and I'm going to take a nice deep breath and think about filling my hand with air. And then trying to use that breath to help release some of that tension. 1 or 2 more breaths. And when I bring my arm back, it's like a little lower. Not a ton, but that's okay. And then bring your legs back up to the top. Make sure you have enough room to rotate in the other direction. And then go ahead and do so. And same thing here. Bring your hand onto your back. Excuse me. Take 1 or 2 more breaths. Sorry, I'm going to grab some water. One more breath. And then you're going to bring your legs back to the floor. Lengthen them all the way, and then you're going to roll yourself all the way up 1 vertebrae at a time. And I apologize, 1 second. Julio is also unhappy. Calamity of errors at the moment. Sorry. So now you're standing. And go ahead and grab your weights. You will need both of them. Okay. And then from here, your weights are going to be by your sides. And you're just going to stand with some amount of runway behind you. And you're just going to step back into a lunge here. And then from here, you're going to tuck your tailbone under to bring yourself a little bit more upright. And you're just going to bend both knees. So you're more or less at that 90 positioning here. So 90 degrees on the bottom leg, 90 degrees-ish on the top. But really think about tucking that tailbone under and then stand straight up. And then again, back down into that 90-90 lunge. And back up. 4 more here. You might get a nice stretch in the front of that right leg or whichever leg is back. Standing up nice and tall for 3. Last one. And then lengthen yourself all the way back up. From here, you're going to bring your right leg up into a tabletop. And you're going to bring your arms into this bent 90-degree position. From here, you're going to extend your arms out long and then resist to bring them back in. If you need, this is too much, bring your toes to the floor, but try to keep as little weight in those toes as possible and just use it as more of a kickstand for 6. 5, your arms are not coming in any narrower than your shoulders. You can think about standing back against a wall. 2. And last one. From here, you're going to rotate your palms in to face one another and then extend them back behind you as you step back into that lunge. From here, bend at the elbows and extend. So you're in that nice long line of your lunge. Similar to like what we did in all fours on the ground. Your upper arm is fixed and just bending and straightening from the elbows. 2 more. Last one. Leave the arms long. Bend the knee. Bring the leg in. Arms are bent. And then extend the legs as you extend. Bend the arms. Extend the arms and legs. Find your lunge. Going nice and slowly here. Four more. 3, 2, last one, stay here. Now you're gonna bend the arms and bring the leg all the way up to tabletop, rotate the palms to the ceiling, open them up, pull them back in, reach back as you extend the arms. So you can make this a more fluid movement if you would like. And bend the arms, bend the knee. Extend. Again, focusing on your form. Nice long spine. Making sure this does not hurt anything. You have smooth motion through the hip. You're really thinking about hinging at the hip and then rotating around that left femur. Last one. Good. Pause at the top, arms go out and back in. And then reach the arms out one last time, rotate them in to face your body, elbows are bent, opening out, and then resist back in for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. And then all the way in, rotate your palms towards the ceiling, bend, and lower all the way down. Okay, sorry. And then here, switching to the left side. So, you're gonna pick that left leg up, and then step it back behind you. Find that nice lunge. Again, arms just down by your side here. Tuck the tailbone under as you find that 90-90. Lift and lower. Head is nice and tall. You're just really going up and down. 3 more. 2. And last one, bring your leg up into tabletop here. And then your arms are by your sides. You're gonna have soft elbows and you're gonna lift your arms up to a T and then resist to press down. Then you're gonna lift them up and press down. 2 more just like this. Last one. Good, and then lower your leg down. Lift your leg as you open to a T. Lower the leg. Lift and lower. For 4, 3, 2. Last one. And then step the leg back into your lunge. From here, extend the arms long. And then bend them in. And extend. And bend in. And extend. The heel of your left foot to the crown of your head is one long line. For 4, 3, 2. Last one. Stand it up. Bring that leg up. Hands facing the ceiling rather. Open out. And then lengthen that leg as you lower back. And then going nice and smooth. Hands come forward, not more narrow than your shoulders. And extend the arms back as you come into this lunge. Make sure, if you're feeling wobbly, that your feet are not too close together. You want to think railroad tracks. So you have a bit of space to give you a wider base of support. We're going to do 5 more. 4, 3, 2 more. And last one. Good, come all the way in. Bring that left leg up to hold. Arms come out. Then open out for that hug a tree for 5. We did 6, not 5. 4 more. Think about gliding the shoulder blades in towards your spine and then giving them a little bit of space away from the spine. And in and out. 2 more. Last one. Lower the legs and then lower the arms all the way down. From here, come into a slightly externally rotated position through your legs, and your knees you want pointing right over your toes and hips facing straight forward. Bring your hands more or less in line with the legs, and you're going to squat down, knees over the toes as you extend your arms long. Resist to bring them back in. Pick a distance between the feet that is comfortable, but you want to think that you're just sliding down a wall behind you. So tailbone is tucked under, chest is upright. 3 more. Elbows stay bent. Think about just opening through the elbow. 2. Last one, pause down, lower the arms, lift just the right, and down. For 4. 3. 2 more. Last one. And to the left. Again, soft bend in the elbow. Think shoulder blades gently slides in as you lift and resist it back down. 2 more. Last one. Lift both arms up. Bend at the elbow, face the hands forward. Press up and down. Press up, pull down. Elbows stay in line with your shoulders. For 3, 2. Last one, pause with the arms here, lift up through the legs, rotate the arms down towards the floor, and then straight back up. So palms to the floor, internally rotate, externally rotate. Internally rotate, externally rotate. 3 more. 2. Last one. Bend the elbows. Press up with the arms as the legs extend for 3, 2. Last one. Pause here. Let the left arm come down, reach the right arm overhead, and pull it back in. Lower it down, come back to the center. Side bend over to the right. Lift the right arm, or left arm rather, up and over and reach. Nice and slowly. You can drop the weights for this if you'd like. Pausing in the center with both arms down before you switch. And lengthen the last one, or the next one rather, not the last one. Overhead for that side stretch. Palm faces away from you as you reach. 2 more. Think about tucking that tailbone under. Make sure you haven't stuck your butt out. Last one to the right. Last one to the left. Stand all the way up. Walk your feet in one towards the other. And then stand in the middle of your mat, hands just in line with or along your legs. And then stick your butt out as you hinge all the way down. And then drop your weights. Roll them away from you and then fold all the way over your legs. And then from here, think about walking yourself out into a plank. And then walk your legs back behind you if you need. I got stuck. And then tuck that tailbone under. Find yourself in a nice long plank. You can always drop to your knees, which is what I'm going to do. Either way, tailbone is tucked under. Feel the heels of your hands pull back towards your hips. lengthening through the front of your chest. And then you're going to lower down, elbows back towards your hips, and press up for 8, 7, 6. Think your exhale is pressing you off the floor. Hips and shoulders and head all lower at the same rate. For 3, 2, last one. Pause at the top, holding in your plank, and then fold at the hips. Feel like someone's pulling your hips back, 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 back behind you. Press the heels of your hands into the floor. Bend your knees if you need. And then from here, drop your knees nice and wide. Bring your toes together and then melt your body to the floor. And then again, imagine that someone now has their hands on your hips, sacrum area, the very top of your glutes, and is gently pressing down. And then has another hand in between your shoulder blades, pressing your hips and sternum away from each other in a little bit of opposition. Take a big inhale here. Exhale. Relax your arms. And then press one hand on top of the other, and then send them back so that you're touching your spine in between your shoulder blades. You can walk your elbows forward a little and then try to sink yourself down so that you get a little stretch through the upper arm and the armpit a bit here. Big inhale and exhale. And then let your arms come long and then slowly roll yourself all the way up. And then you can sit cross-legged or just on your heels, whichever is more comfortable. And we're going to start, or end rather, the same way we started. You're going to bring your arms to a T, and then bring your hands onto your shoulders. Check in where your ribs are at. Lengthen through the rib cage, or through the tailbone. Drop the ribs, and then rotate over gently towards the right. See how this feels here. And then over to the left. And again to the right. And left. Good. Next time to the right, you're going to pause. And you're going to reach your right hand behind you, and then reach up and back. And then over to that left side. However feels good. And slowly round all the way forward. And come all the way up. Same thing to the other side. I'm going to twist and rotate, drop my left hand, and then reach back behind me for a moment before I come into that normal side bend. And then again, drop your arms in front of you, relax your arms, shake your head out, yes and no, and then slowly peel yourself all the way up until your head is on top of your shoulders, ribs are on top of your hips, and you are all finished. Thanks.